Welcome to our session we'll do introductions in a second, but this is all about discovering CRM Analytics. The cert has just changed, so we've got the new cert logo up there for you, and we are actually joined by someone from Nebula, and again I'll do introductions in a second, and Nebula are this year's CRM Analytics sponsor, so thank you for joining us today. So just a little bit about me. If you haven't met me already, I'm Lynn Constantine. I am the Global Customer Success Manager here at Supermums. I am here to support and guide you and answer your questions for you to have an informed decision if you want to train with Supermums. So I will drop in a link to my Calendly diary, and feel free to either email me, I'll drop my email address in as well, or book in some time with me, and I'd be delighted to go through anything. If it's a little bit more technical, I can, of course, get the answers for you and come back to you. So I wanted to introduce to you, very first of all, our amazing trainer, Liam. So if you'd like to do your intro, Liam, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lynn. Hello, everybody. Good to see you on the call for those joining live and those on the recording. My name's Liam. I'm the sort of in-house instructor here at Supermums, delivering quite a lot of courses, mostly admin, but also some of the ones we deliver include AI, and of course the one we're going to talk to you today, CRM Analytics. Been doing this stuff now for about 4 years in terms of training. Analytics now probably coming up to maybe 2 years or so, and I'm delighted that the person who trained me back in the day is actually here with us today. So come full circle, and on that, I will hand over to Jiri for introductions.
There we go. Thank you, Jiri. And we would love to hear from your introduction, please.
Hello, everybody. Really nice to be here. My name is Jiri Dvorak. I'm the principal consultant at Nebula Consulting. I've had the pleasure to work with the product CRM Analytics for a long time now. And on that journey also, as Liam mentioned, I worked together with Liam to deliver similar kind of workshops and courses and trainings over many years. I worked in the ecosystem for 8-9 years now. And as mentioned, I was an instructor, and now I'm a consultant for Nebula Consulting.
Thank you very much. And if you want to continue on, Jiri, that would be great.
Definitely can do. So a little bit about the sponsor of this workshop, my company, Nebula Consulting. We are Salesforce partner, and we focus on delivering Salesforce services. This presentation has been sort of put together on one place to try to summarize what we are doing, but Salesforce consultancy is probably the easiest way to put it. We have several different focus areas, and if you look closely there, you do notice there is analytics, and you notice also the CRM analytics and Tableau focus in our core skills. So I do look after that area of our business, and I'm a product team lead in Nebula Consulting, as well as in my capacity of principal consultant. We've been around for some time, for about 10 years, and we do try, of course, in the ecosystem to share our knowledge and to have ways how we can give back. And this is one of the ways where we are identified. Another kind of outreach we are doing is we're trying to produce knowledge share articles and blogs, and organize a variety form of outreach to work with Salesforce community. So besides this kind of a bit of a summary, we also have a couple of values that we put on a separate slide. So it's not all fit in one, but here are our core values in Nebula Consulting that we live by. And I think it is it's nice to be able to demonstrate these day to day and see these in action. So we make sure that when we work with our customers, we're very open. Today, I had several conversations that were of this nature, trying to share some things that are maybe not very comfortable to hear all the time, but they are real and true. And we are always open to our customers, build that relationship based on trust. We try to empower customers and other members of the ecosystem. So we share the ways of working with the platform throughout, and there's no real need to there's no any place to hide, no secrets around any of our work. So we do share and empower. We also try to make sure that we're flexible in relationship with our team members, all our stakeholders and our customers, and collaborative to deliver for them and with them. So that's a little bit of a summary of the sponsor of this conference from my company, Nebula Consulting. I'm not sure, Lynn, I think we may have a little bit more to it when it comes to delivery. So maybe the final slide adds a little bit to that as well. If I'm not mistaken, we do add, so if you move on, please, to the next one, we have added a point about if you ever consider sourcing an expert in Salesforce and are looking for a Salesforce partner, would like a second opinion as well. We've shared a few reasons why Nebula may be a good partner to look at. I think we don't need to, take more time from the introduction of and discovery of CRM Analytics. That's what this webinar is primarily all about. And so we will focus on that. But of course, you do have this in the recording, and you can actually potentially reach out. And I will put in the chat, I will put a way how you could reach out to our company and contact us if you would be interested. So that's a little bit about myself, and also, of course, about Nebula Consulting, sponsor of the workshop.
Thank you. And we're very grateful to have you here, and of course to have Nebula as our sponsors. So analytic landscapes, I think this one, I think you were going to take as well, Jiri. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can start here. So when we are considering offering and putting together solutions that have to do with delivering some kind of insights to customers, we're usually considering sort of the requirements and the value delivery from several important angles. And I think this is the first one we've identified. Kind of who are we delivering for? Who needs to have the insight? Who is going to be the audience? I think when you are putting together a solution, you're usually thinking, what should be in it, right? You're usually thinking, okay, well, I want to have a nice chart here. I want to have this nice analytics dashboard. But there's a prerequisite. There is that you need a set of eyeballs, right, Liam? We need to have somebody involved. And that someone needs to give us a little bit of guidance and what they want from any solution, right?
You certainly do. And the way this sort of session will work, folks, Jiri does quite a lot of talking, all the stuff, and I get to the fun bit at the end, and I'm going to show you a lot of what Jiri's actually talking about with the demo. My question for you, Jiri, because obviously you're working with customers every day. Do you typically find there's an industry that you work with most of all in terms of customers? What do you find there's typically something they want to get out of the tool more than others in terms of what they're trying to analyze with their data? Is there a trend that you would see on the platform?
It is usually where more complex sort of business intelligence tools like CRM Analytics is attract a more kind of enterprise audience. So usually you will have stakeholders that are in medium-sized to larger companies, or they could be in the smaller companies, but they have a large data volume. So they know, oh, we have so much data, maybe for our customers or their orders or their sort of their tickets, and we need to understand it a little bit better. And for that reason, they're sourcing a solution using CRM Analytics. That's a typical type of a stakeholder, the typical who. And when it comes to industry, that differs a lot. But when it comes to gathering our data, we kind of do that almost everywhere you look these days. But maybe the technology company, marketing companies, you can run even a smaller marketing company, marketing consultancy. And because of the nature of your business, you just gather a lot of data, and you need to understand, success rates of your campaigns, and email sends and response rates and all these details that you're interested in. And you're going to have, your marketing managers is your typical who, your sales manager also. And of course, your executives. Your board wants to know the sort of summary level, how successful the company performance is, what are potential problems. So that's the kind of angles we look at.
That's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maybe then use cases,
The
right?
why.
The why, another really key aspect. The workshop that we are introducing here and discussing actually will help you deliver. But the who and the why are key prerequisites, for the reasons behind why things are being done. So this is a use case. Here for the design of the slide, we see some of the Salesforce characters sort of doing some activities, and they're thinking about, this is kind of having fun or figuring things out. Usually, we don't analyze things just because we would like to see something put together. We usually have a mandate. Typically, in a business setting, we would have specific kind of objective to understand the situation, have an insight. And these days, what's really typical is for that insight to be actionable. So businesses drive us to serve the information in a way that they can action. And so the whole reason why is so that we understand what's actually going on and can react to it. But then the devil is, of course, always in the detail. So we talk about, well, what's the context? Is the context analyzing marketing data? And we talked about, campaign-centric analysis or, asset-centric analysis. So you might have specific webinars, or you might have specific emails that you want to see how successful these are in specific characteristics. That is one typical use case. Sales use case involves looking at selling aspects of your performance, and that often involves looking at sort of sales opportunities and their progress and the conversion rates as well, and similar kind of use cases. We often look at marketing lead generation, because that's sort of the top of the funnel kind of analysis, where you need to make sure that whatever your company is trying to produce as an outcome, has a good footing, has a good foundation. So you are trying to understand which activities produce better sort of lead outcomes, and you may want to be able to attract more of your leads. So it's all about making the right choice at the right time, making it actionable. And these are, I would say, the very, very typical use cases, but the list goes on and on. So we have lots of whys, and we also have lots of whos. And these are key prerequisites, because we always need to make the effort to make the analytics work. You will see there is some effort involved. Liam is really very good at explaining all the concepts, and I'm sure you will go away understanding really well how you can then produce the outcome. But top of the consideration will be who and why are we doing this for and with.
Thank you. Anything you wanted to add into that, Liam?
To be honest, no, Jiri's doing an amazing job, so it's quite nice for me on these calls. I will add a couple of bits, though, yes. So we're going to talk about the course offering at Supermums in a lot more detail a bit later on, after we've done a bit more discovery side of things. As Jiri said, terminology is absolutely key. And, we get to do a lot of awesome things on the course. We get to build some interactive analytics dashboards. We get to build some pretty cool data sets that can, display all this awesome data. But the key, as Jiri points out, is in the data. If you haven't got the correct data in place first, it's not in the correct data set, it's not prepared correctly, you can't show up all those key fundamentals. So in the course that we offer, you do get to do both. We'll build some really cool functionality, but we're going to reward ourselves first by putting in the hard work at the beginning and making sure everything is prepared to be able to go and do that. Like I say, we'll talk more about the course offering a little bit later on.
You only get out what you put in, as they say.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's very much a real world experience as well. So now, next step, when we are gathering requirements, that's already, you have somebody to speak to, because there is the who, and high level why are you there. But then what is it that they would like to analyze. And in that process, we are capturing what are the key data points to include in the analysis. And here, very high level breakdown, we're looking at your numerical data, your measures, your contextual data, that's your dimensions. And also we are looking at timelines. Very often, our stakeholders, our audience, they want to see the progression over time, because we always want to see that trend, and the trend hopefully will improve over time, right? And we want to be able to benchmark, and we do that instinctively. When we look at any timeline, almost any line chart, you're already thinking, okay, well, that's over time, probably. So maybe if it goes up, line goes up, it's good. And that means you benchmarked and think, okay, what's on the right is later, what's on the left is earlier, and the trend line gives me that good validation that the trends are positive. Maybe this is simplifying things, but actually in reality, when we are putting the what together, when we're designing, these kind of instincts are absolutely key. We need to make sure that whatever we're putting together is absolutely crystal clear design, instinctively understood. You read it like a newspaper. You open it and it tells you the story without having to dissect and think too long and too hard about every single chart, what it actually means. So capturing the what from the customer is really, really sort of the bread and butter of analytics consultant. And you're going to be doing some of that on the course as well. You get a lot of scenarios prepared for you, but you should be thinking about how does this break down into what is being required here from me.
And that is something I'll add as well. That is a really nice part of the course. In a lot of the courses we offer, you get some people that have already used the tool, looking to get the most out of what they've already done. Other people starting brand new. And as well as just learning the functionality, you do get hands-on. There is a case study that you slot into. So actually using the functionality and applying it to a real-life use case, that's awesome, because you might not remember the functionality, which I wouldn't personally, but you remember the case study as to where you applied it to, and they're real-life situations, which, you know, has tremendous value. So yeah, absolutely love that part of the course.
Thank you. So the next slide is the where.
And here we have already put together a little bit of a plan. By now, you know what you're trying to do to some degree, right? At least at a high level. And then we can execute on that plan. Key aspect that we also have to think through every single time is, where is that data? Because we are analyzing data that already exists. You do need to, as we hinted earlier, we mentioned that we're working with what the organizations and businesses actually already have and what they capture. We expect there's going to be a bit of data volume. What that means is going through that conversation with our stakeholders. And I could not really count the number of times when I'm being, asked to produce some kind of a conversion rate or some very sophisticated metric, KPIs, key performance indicators that is defined in really interesting ways. And you always have to learn on what this means for this business. And then you ask, so where is that data currently? And sometimes you get the answer, which is at the bottom of this list. We don't know. We don't have that data. So analytics consultants occasionally, consult in small other ways in other areas to make sure that we sort of help people capture data as well, where there is relevant. But in most cases, far and large, by far and large, you would have that data available in some of these locations that you see here on the list. So CRM Analytics is Salesforce product. You can easily use Salesforce objects and also other Salesforce products like Marketing Cloud. You will also find businesses often have spreadsheets around. And sometimes we just need to use these as the data source because they will tell you the only place where we currently have it is in a spreadsheet. So you might need to actually use that spreadsheet directly. That's what happens. And other cloud databases or other sources in the cloud, Google Analytics and AWS and many, many more potential examples of that. if they have a specific location, we can take it from there. Otherwise, we sort of advise and work with the business, with the organization to try to analyze. But we do need the data because that is what we're analyzing.
I think it's very interesting to hear this from your side, and obviously this is where Liam's going to come in and obviously teach how to do all of this. So I think it's great to hear it from your side as well, Jiri.
And I believe that once you do complete the workshop, the course, you're going to have a good understanding how to assemble that data together. I'm quite familiar from being an instructor, and I've delivered a similar workshop in the past iteration of it. So there is a really useful aspects of how data is put together here. Liam, you might share an up-to-date assessment of which of these data sources are being included in the workshop with hands-on examples as well.
Yeah. So typically on the course, we do focus on our sales objects, but to show off the capability of the tool, we do have some external data sources as well. So on the course, you will be shown how to take information from a CSV file, a spreadsheet. You'll be shown how to combine that together using some fantastic functionality called recipes, which I like to think is almost like the float of analytics. I can't remember if that's something you taught me back in the day, but it stuck with me whenever I heard it. Incredible tool for joining different data sources, producing them together, and getting some pretty key metrics out the other side of it. So that's what we do. We also show you how to do it from other data sources as well, using APIs, but we don't do that ourselves because we haven't got a connected data source for that purpose. So we do get very hands-on with this. Now, I had a question for you, Jiri, on this one as well.
All right.
Of the list we've got here, do you find that data is coming from more than one of these sources more frequently? So do you tend to find that your customers tend to look mostly at Salesforce objects or mostly at cloud databases? Is there typically a favorite or a front runner?
For us, we have quite a lot of customers that use a marketing cloud tool called Account Engagement. And so marketing cloud is actually very common. And some of the campaign analytics and email analytics and marketing assets analytics, I mentioned some use cases earlier. That happens a lot actually. And we do that, maybe 50% of our analytics work involves some of that marketing cloud data in some way, shape, or form. It's almost always, however, augmented by Salesforce. So it is really the core of the functionality, just how close CRM Analytics is to Salesforce and how well integrated, and you can basically seamlessly analyze Salesforce data. I think the participants of the Supermums workshop, you will get to experience that, and you will see that it is really a really good tool to deliver Salesforce-powered analytics, or to bring that to a next level, because there is really good stuff that we can do in our analysis using CRM Analytics.
Yeah, and that typically falls off to one of the questions that we always get asked on these courses about things like the difference between standard reports and dashboards in Salesforce and what you can do with analytics, because they sound quite similar on the surface, but they're really not in terms of the insight, the scope, and potential of what you can do with Analytics Studio. So that's something also we
that is absolutely very valid consideration, and we have on an ongoing basis we assess what's the right tool for the right use case, and that's something that you have to bring with you into a given situation and consider all of these aspects again and again. So it's really good that this is being addressed, I believe. All right, we can. Okay. I see there's
now a how.
Someone else joining.
That's right.
Yes. So you can see we've used almost all adverbs in the world, I think. So a little bit of that how, and Liam mentioned this. We do need to combine our data, prepare that foundation for the analytics work to be done, and high level, the CRM Analytics tool includes really powerful, a product includes powerful tools. So the recipe is one of such tools that is really helpful for you to do this kind of job, to combine the data that needs to be combined and enable such analysis. Beyond that, on top of that, of course, you need to then deliver that, the analytics. Usually we build a dashboard. Usually that is the end product, right? Because our stakeholders coming from businesses or organizations, they need to or want to see for themselves what's the current situation and act on that So that is delivered with the dashboard, and we use the dashboard builder, the provided functionality, to build such dashboard. And you will build quite a few dashboards in the course. That's still the case, Liam.
It is, yeah. I actually count it because when I delivered this course to yourself, I watched you do it back in the day. I think we may built a handful of dashboards. I think we built nearly 14 dashboards in some shape or form on the course now, all showing off slightly different functionality. Because that tends to be the main thing that people are interested in. How can I display the data in the best possible way? So yeah, it's quite a lot of building, which is brilliant. Because that's how I learn best. I get hands-on and build the muscle memory, so it's fantastic.
That is exactly the case. You really want to have that hands-on experience. You want to be able to practice. You want to have a little bit of that back and forth with a qualified instructor like Liam to understand what is the right choice given that situation and this situation. And also, ask these similar kind of questions, the how, the why, the what. I think these open-ended questions help you learn best practice really in a good way.
And that's one of my favorite phrases, almost what's in it for me, not just I'm doing a couple of steps in the correct order to see something nice at the end. I want to know why I'm doing it this way, what are the benefits, why are best practices in the first instance. So you do get some real in-depth stuff on the course, which is brilliant.
I think take it from me with that daily exposure. If best practices are not followed, there are quite a few situations where you end up regretting it and you're thinking, why did I or somebody before me did it this way? Well, I end up with this hairstyle also for a reason.
As an analytics consultant right there, folks.
Okay, so now Liam's going to do a demo. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I think, Liam, you can take over from here with your sharing your screen and show everyone a demo. That'd be great. Thank you.
There we go. Right on cue. So can you see my screen okay, everybody?
Yeah,
That good? Lovely. So we've only got about another sort of 50 minutes left for me for you to demo to you. And something I talked about earlier on is that we put a lot of hard work into actually creating the data sets, first of all, source where the data is coming from. Now, I've done that hard work for you already, so that I can show you the stuff that we can build at the end to actually display this data. What I'm going to be showing you in this very brief demo is mere percentages of what we cover on the entire course. Okay, but this is the stuff we get to do right at the very end after we've done all the good work of building these awesome data sets. So you're going to learn a lot of functionality on the course. You're going to learn a lot of key terms. One thing I always call out at the start of the course, have an A4 sheet of paper, have an Excel spreadsheet, all designed for key terms, because knowing key terms is absolutely key for this course. One of those key terms is going to be a widget. Now, a widget is a thing on a dashboard. Without any kind of data being referenced, it doesn't really do much. But we have different types of widgets in the Analytics Studio that can display different types of data. One of my favorite things about this tool, when I learned it back in the day with Jiri, was just how easy it was to navigate this tool. I'm not a very techie person, despite being a jobber. I teach people how to use certain types of tech, because this stuff is very user-friendly. It's declarative, it's drag and drop functionality, which means anybody can do it. So there's a couple of different types of widgets to be aware of. We have data widgets, which can display data in a certain way. We have filter widgets, which can then filter our data on the dashboard, and also define widgets which don't actually reference data, but they can make our dashboard look good, or indeed they can inform the end user with some help text or some metrics just to help understand the dashboard. So what I want to do is just give you a little bit of a demonstration of just some of these different types of widgets on a dashboard that I've got ready to go. I also want to show you that if you are brand new to this tool, and the majority of the people in the call are today, you can do this stuff from scratch and get hands-on. That's what we do in the course together. Or there are so many tools to help you, so many templates to get you started. If, a bit like me, you are creatively challenged, which can make your dashboards look good as a starting point. So we're going to do a couple of those things today. So I want to show you first one. This will be the first time some of you have seen this. This is going to be your Analytics Studio. There's been quite an emphasis recently on Salesforce to sort of join reports and dashboards from Salesforce with the Analytics Studio, because it's all about data analytics. And it makes sense that it's all in one kind of place. So I want to show you how to create a dashboard. So I'm going to go to create top right hand side. You can see here already the breakdown. You've got the stuff that we can do in Salesforce Lightning, reports, folders, and dashboards, and then everything that you can do with CRM Analytics at the top here. And this is quite a new feature, probably been around about a year or so now, I'd say. You might correct me on that, but having that all in the same filter here. So let's go ahead and just go and see what a dashboard likes. And it's there. So first of all, I'm going to show you this template version a bit later on. I want to show you what a blank dashboard looks like first of all. And as you can see, it's blank. You don't get much here. You do have your widgets on the left-hand side. If you forget the name, you can hover over them, look at the names, that sort of thing. And I find that every time I teach this course, every couple of months or so, more and more of these are coming to the surface. So this little more option at the bottom is always filling up with brand new widgets to display different kinds of data. So let's just give you a scenario. So let's say, first of all, I want to go and build a chart widget. Let's pop onto my dashboard. And as I said before, this is a thing on a dashboard. It's not showing any data yet because I haven't said what data I'd like it to actually display. So we'll click on the word chart in the middle. And I now need to choose my source data. For the org that I'm using today, this is the exact same org that anybody looking to join the course will have on their first day, and you'll get hands-on just like me. Got some pre-prepared data sets here. These are just collections of Salesforce data, broken down in a few ways. I'm going to click on my sales opportunity data set here as a starting point. And this is where I can now build a query. And a query is a request for data, and we can decide how that is actually going to be displayed in our dashboard. So this is the interface you're going to get very familiar with if you're using this functionality on a daily basis. So I'm going to avoid using quite a lot of the key terms here and just show you what we can do with this tool. So let's say I want to show something, and I want to show what my complete total amount of money is in my org broken down. So let's go for opportunity amount. You can see the interface always starts to build itself as you build this really nice preview. And let's say I'm interested to see where the money is in my sales pipeline for my company. Got these bars down here. These bars allow me to effectively group my information. And these are all fields from my data set. So already, if I didn't have this data inside my data set, I couldn't reference it here. That's where the pre-preparedness comes in. So let's go for stage. Standard field in Salesforce. And already I can very quickly see where the money is in my pipeline. Okay. We have a lot of components to display. We have chart functionality on the right side. We can format this stuff. There are quite a few different chart types that you can look at when it comes to analytics and display this data in a different way. Let's donor. And we'll just go ahead and add this to our dashboard. And how quick and easy is that to just show some pretty good information at the same time? Now, that is a very quick demo, but a lot of the hard work was done before we even got to this point, and we'll show you how to build those data sets. That's just one example of our widgets when it comes to data widgets. We have different types of widgets. We can have table widgets, things like leaderboards, things like number widgets to display total amounts, lower amounts, averages, conversions, whatever it may be. But the key is these ones are referencing data. Anything you'd add to that, Jiri?
I think this is the way how you are going to consume the data. This is going to you will want to choose the right type of data widget for that given scenario. I usually advise away from very detailed and very long tables. And I ask the question, do you need to see these 1,000 rows? Because I do get that requirement sometimes where the customer says, actually, is it possible for us to see all of that data in a table? And I say, well, you know, how many columns do you actually want there? And do you really need to see that table? So actually, we push back against data presentation requirements and suggest some good practices. And these, the tool, the dashboard builder that Liam has been demonstrating here, allow you to make some choices and allow you to offer alternatives to summarize the data, visualize the data. That's the kind of presentation that will benefit your viewer. So that's the stakeholder, the customer, your team member, your colleague. All these would benefit from the right best practice here.
Yeah, I kind of like that discussion as well. Right at the start, people might think they want to see 1,000 rows of data. If you put that in front of your end user, I'm probably not going to look very long and hard at that particular table. So yeah, that's the excellent question to ask right at the start. So yeah, well worth saying that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got some data widgets today that we build quite a lot of these in the course, and also I'll give you a little taster of what we do. We come on to the next one. We have our filter widgets. So if you are filtering your data, we can filter by many different areas inside the studio. We can apply a date filter, a date range. It can be a list of data. So you might have things like your regions, for example. might want to display your data through a toggle. There's so many that we can do. So I'm just going to show you a very quick filter that we have. And once again, all these filters you can see over here on the left-hand side. We do talk about the global filter as well. You have to click on the core to show what that one is. But I'll show you a couple of these just to show how we can manipulate that first chart component I put in place. So very flexible interface this, so just a little bit of room. I'm going to put a little widget in place here. So let's go for, in fact, let's see. I should have done a little poll here, say which one people would like me to do. Let's just go for, let's go for a toggle. There's going to be quite a few here. So same again, drag and drop onto your canvas. And let's just open that up a little bit. So there's going to be quite a few options for this particular toggle. Once again, it's a thing on the dashboard. I haven't said what we're going to be referencing yet, what the toggle is going to be broken down by. Let's choose that. And because we've already got a particular set of data, or data set I should say, on my dashboard, it knows that we're looking at that sales ops data. You can change that if you want to. We look at things called interactions on the course, and actually how different widgets can relate to each other, how they can ignore each other, or how we can make our dashboard engaging. So let's go ahead and break this one down by stage once again, because we'll be able to see the differences. And apply that. And let's bring that the whole width. So, should have probably picked an awful less stages here. But if I just go ahead and save this, let's save it as a new demo dashboard. Let's just go to the preview. And if your end user is looking at your sales pipeline and wants to see where the data is in a bit more detail, we can simply filter by this. This works in exactly the same way if I had a date range, if I had a set list, for example, it could be broken down by region. Pretty much, once again, the limitation is the data. If you've got the data to have a look at and filter by, we can do that on here. Okay. So once again, there are way more than that to do, but just want to show you a quick flavor of that. Because Jiri is here.
I will highlight that the filtering capabilities are so powerful, and they can make the single dashboard, the single view that your viewers will have into 10, 15 and more combinations. So you really benefit from empowering the viewers by giving them these kind of useful filters. And that is a distinguishing factor between CRM Analytics and also Salesforce dashboards, where the filtering capabilities are less pronounced.
Absolutely huge, yeah. So one more filter type I'm not going to talk about in as much detail, but you can also have your design widgets. A dashboard has to look good for people to actually want to look at it. It's a very basic feature, but if it doesn't look good, I'm not going to look at it. I quite like colors, shapes, designs, that kind of thing. It has to be inspiring. So we do have a lot of those features on this dashboard. Now, like I said, there, it has to look good. I can build a dashboard. I'm not going to say I'm good at making them look good, though. So we do have quite a few templates that come out of the box in Analytics Studio, which can be used to your advantage. So what I want to show you is how you can use a template version to build a particular dashboard. So I'm going to come back into my studio here, and I'll go down the exact same route as before by creating a dashboard. And this time I'm going to go through the templates route. Now, there are different templates for different purposes. Some of them will just give you almost a template with no data being referenced. Give you a blank canvas with some pretty cool stuff on it already. Others are a little bit more smarter than that. And some can actually ask you questions along the way. So if I go for this performance summary, you see smart dashboard there, it will actually ask you questions to say, what kind of data do you want to display? Are there any metrics? Are there any date formats you'd like to display as well? So let's just go through a couple of these queries. And let's stick with that sales operations, sales opportunity data. Let's base our metric this time on opportunity amount. We'll have some date functionality based on the close date, because that's what's key when it comes to sales pipelines. And we'll just go ahead and apply a couple of groupings here so we can see something. So let's base this one on account name. And I'll go ahead and also stick with stage as a starting point. Now, depending on the template you use, they will ask you slightly different questions or require more or less data, but this is to give you an idea of what can be done. So let's go ahead and say this looks good. And we'll call this my demo template dashboard. Let's go to B1, not this one. Store it in there for looking at it later. And I often look at these templates and think, first of all, how long would it take me to build something like this? Quite a while is the answer. But we can already see so much data as a starting point. And the benefit with the template as well is there's many ways we can use the same template time and time again if you want to have that consistent look and feel of your dashboards for your company. You can use these templates, you can build your own templates, and we can look at some of the stuff that happens behind the scenes of a dashboard and use that for purposes as well. Another key difference between regular dashboards and Salesforce versus analytic dashboards, we can have multiple pages here as well. So you may have spotted here, I'm on the front page, but I've got multiple pages. So it allows you, if you wanted to have an overview page, you could then dig down into some of the more precise data. Multiple pages is absolutely key to break down that different infrastructure. I like using templates because it saves me time, and like I say, they tend to look good even before I have started.
Brilliant.
Once again,
Really
I couldn't have built something like this.
I love a bit of colour.
Everyone likes using templates. That is because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You look around and you find the right starting point and you use that. And also you build consistency, because you will not end up in your organization or whoever you work for to have just one dashboard. More likely than not, you're going to have 5, maybe 10, and they should resemble each other a little bit, because it's like I was saying, newspaper. You know, when you open your newspaper, you kind of expect some way of presenting information, and you would want to build the same kind of expectation. So templates massively help with that.
Absolutely. That is all I want to show up in this demo. Take about 50 minutes though. And like I say, on the course we deliver, we do a lot of this building. We do a lot of building interactions between our data. We build data sets as well. We can show up all this good stuff. That is just a percentage of what we can actually do on the course itself. Okay.
I've actually seen you build more than this, and it's so interesting to watch from my perspective. So I'm sure anybody that wants to work in the industry within CRM Analytics is brilliant course to do.
And Lynn, there is always a space for you on the course. If you want to come along as well, that seat is always available.
I hope there will be some space for me. I'm pretty sure that I'm coming to join a session or two, and I hope to interact with those that joined the webinar, and also those that watch the recording, and our other course participants. It's always nice to be able to share some examples from analytics projects.
Thank you, and we look forward to you joining Liam on the sessions as well. Thank you, Jiri. Okay, so shall I just run through the dates and times then? So it's an 8-day training program. The sessions will run, as you can see, from the 10th of September. Week 1 is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Week 2, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then the final week, you'll have Tuesday and Wednesday. This particular course is available in EMEA, USA. It's available globally, so wherever you are in the world, you're absolutely welcome to join us. The cost, as you can see, is $2,040. The sessions are, I want to say 1 till 5, I think.
Yep.
Liam, is that correct?
Yeah, 1 till 5 British summer time.
1 till 5, but it is all, it actually says it on the screen, so I don't know why I didn't just read it, but anyway, good job, I knew it.
I didn't want to say, but
but all the sessions are recorded, as we do with any of our training courses. So if you can't make one of the sessions, you can absolutely watch the recording.
I'll add a little bit to that. You do get very hands-on in this course, as well as just listening to me. You'll be delighted to know you get hands-on. You do have case studies. You do have an exercise guide, and we build that muscle memory in the course. So the stuff that I've demoed very, very briefly there, we get to do a lot of, which I think adds tremendous value to courses like this. You actually build the memory from it.
Brilliant, absolutely. And my understanding, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, it's ANC 201, ANC 301 they'd be heading towards, yeah?
It is. So the first 2 days are pretty entry level. We get to do a lot of what I've demoed today. We get to go and build some pretty cool features. From the last day of the first week, so that'll be on Thursday, we then start to actually build the data itself, or retrieve the data with some pretty cool functionality. We combine it together. We talk about recipes, building those data sets, and actually combine data from several sources with some pretty nice use cases. And then right towards the end of the course, we do the more dashboard building, and we even explore the underlying code that sits behind this functionality. That is not a requirement that you'll have to use for a real job role if you're looking to do this stuff in the future, but it's nice to know where the information comes to give you the ultimate flexibility you need to. So the course is structured really nicely.
Great, thank you, Liam. Have we got any more slides? Because you've got control now.
We do. So folks, if anybody has any questions, there is no such thing as a silly question, by the way, when it comes to this sort of thing. If you want to come off of mute, raise your hand if you want to pop them in the chat. We'd love to hear your questions. Whilst you're thinking about that, though, I've got a question I'd like to ask Jiri.
All right.
Now, as instructors, and it's been a while since you've done instructing, Jiri, but you'll still probably teach me a thing or two. You know there are some questions that you get more frequently than others on the course, and you're almost waiting for that question to come through. Now, Jiri, I still get this question today, and I want to hear your textbook answer.
Okay.
What is the difference between CRM Analytics and Tableau?
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Thank you for this question. I will
You are
try
welcome.
a short answer. All right, I will try. So both are Salesforce products, but that's not a difference, right? However, they've grown organically in slightly different ways. Tableau has joined the family quite late, so it actually acts fairly independently. And there is a key difference. To access Tableau dashboards, you do not need to log into Salesforce. So that really empowers you as an executive on the go. You just want to check what the data is telling you. That it may be the sure, fast way how to get that insight. So that is more pointing towards Tableau route for some of these kind of use cases. However, CRM Analytics is really sitting very close to Salesforce and has been developed as such. So when you have situations where you want to serve an insight as well as present actions, launch automation, automatic flows with the click of a button, do mass actions on your data, this is the use cases where your CRM Analytics shines. So for actionable insights, we usually point towards CRM Analytics just because of how close it sits with Salesforce. I tried a quick one.
I know that answer could literally take another hour or so, but yeah.
I can go on and on. I'm sorry. I think people have gotten a bit of a taste of that in earlier part of our webinar as well.
That's all good.
Yeah, and I was only going to say, Liam, you know, if anybody, I have dropped in my Calendly link. If anyone wants to chat with me, I can always filter it out to both of the guys here if you've got any questions that you need answering. And I see also that Jiri has put his contact details in there, so find him on LinkedIn. Absolutely. The great thing is that everyone is here to support and guide you and help you. So there is a question. After completing the course, will there be a certificate of completion issued? Do you want to take that, Liam?
Yes is the answer. So you will have a certificate from Supermums to say you have completed our CRM Analytics training course. That will include ANC 201 completion and ANC 301 completion. Because the word certificate has been mentioned there, there is obviously a certification that Salesforce offers that is prior to this. It has been renamed recently, it's on the very first slide. This course covers about 85% of the content. Some of those smaller issues, particularly the stuff regarding Einstein, we don't go into as much detail on the course as you need to for your certification, but there's just so much you can fit into that amount of time, really. But it does cover 85% of that, but you will get a course completion certificate, Valmac. Okay, lovely question.
Does that answer your question, Valmac? I'll take it that that's a yes. I can't see. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. I would also be interested if anyone wants to drop in the chat if they found today's session useful. We will be doing them again throughout the year for all of our courses. So if there's a particular course that you're planning to join that isn't this one, then absolutely look out for the dates and join into the other ones as well. Is there any more questions?
And I always say at this point, if there is an error of silence, then I've done pretty well. But Amy's got a hand up. Go ahead, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hello, thank you so much. This was super helpful. I have a question around just the kind of knowledge that we're gaining here in this course and the specific kind of skills that we might acquire as like a consultant in, like, as Jiri had pointed out, like really understanding the discovery of what it is that we're working with and being asked to do. I think a lot of the work that I've done, it's really sometimes not thoroughly discovered until we're midway through or at the end, and it's not exactly what the client was looking for. So I'm really interested in understanding kind of applicable ways and best practices for us to not only really cover the discovery, but also as like a team, how we're solutioning and really understanding what does this mean, you know, what does work done or work completed look like? And you know, how the team knows when the project is done, like, you know, as far as like the data mapping and things like that, that kind of embrace this knowledge. I'm really interested in what this course gives us from that perspective.
Thank you, Amy. I think that it's a really, really nice question. So, well, when it comes to how this empowers you as a consultant to address the requirements, the course, as I understand it, and Liam, please speak a little bit more to this, will really help out for you with your understanding of the underlying platform with the CRM Analytics. Now, when you are putting together these dashboards and assembling this data, you are making many decisions. The course will help you understand what these decisions are. And this really kind of arms you for the earlier conversations. What are the questions I need to ask to be able to then deliver on this kind of a requirement? So in my experience, most often, what happens is, oh, we haven't asked that question. Oh, we need to also ask about this because that's a follow-up action that we need to do, but we don't know if the customer wants to go with option A or option B. So because that question was missed, there is additional conversations that we need to have, and it can slow down the delivery, and it can slow down ultimately also, you know, the final sign-off. On the aspect you mentioned there, Amy, about the final sign-off, you know, to what degree we can, what is that definition of complete? When can we sort of have things done? What I have found in my experience is that that point comes with adoption and usage. So when we have, you know, go live is a milestone which is worth celebrating. Yes, we have end users that have access to our well-designed dashboards, and we also are receiving feedback, which hopefully is mostly positive, all positive. And then we have that situation, but with usage and adoption comes that validation that we are in a good place with our analytics. And if we need to revisit, we do that as well. You know, we might have a scenario where the underlying processes that power the data changes, therefore the data structures changes, therefore analytics, all of that needs to change as well. And more likely than not, Amy, that happens. So the terminal, we are done with analytics, almost never really occurs. What occurs more likely than that is we have a really good set of analytics assets and now we're maintaining. So that is more realistic scenario.
And
in my
I'm
experience.
going to just quickly ask Liam, thank you for that, to wrap up by answering Amy's question, because I know that he has a lot of admin people that are very patiently waiting for him to go to at 6.
Yeah, I've got a course in 4 minutes, but don't worry, I'm sure Liam you get it needs to be. Yeah, lovely question, Amy. You did a fantastic job answering the question. The nice thing is we explore the whole range of what's capable from the product. So as and when we apply these to case studies, we can determine where and when to use the best piece of functionality for the prerequisite. Now, it does, of course, take practice. I would not expect anyone to come on this course, understand the full range, and then go off and become a consultant. It just doesn't happen. But we do explore the whole range of the product suite. We do look at different ways of achieving different functionality and different scenarios. So by the end of it, you will have your own preference for doing things. There's many ways to do the same thing in Salesforce, and it happens with the Analytics Studio as well. And you know, some of these ways will be best practice, and you'll learn that as we go through the course. So yeah, we do cover quite a lot of that, Amy. So yeah, lovely question. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions, folks? I think we can wrap up on that case then.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Liam, as always. Amazing session. Jiri, thank you so much for you and to Nebula.
Thank you. Happy to join.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks for dropping that in. And thank you for everyone that's joined us today. We really appreciate you joining us. You know where to find us. If you've got any questions at all, please reach out and we'd be delighted to help you. So enjoy the rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.